You're sitting there with heaven at your back, wonders and joy, pleasures forevermore at your disposal, an eternity of bliss, in the presence of the living God throughout all eternity. Your feet are dangling over the edge of hell. The screams are constant. Curse words you never thought that you would have to hear again come from the distant smoke and flames. And then you see him, far away but still close enough to recognize, the anguish on his face almost palatable. And as he looks up for a moment from his torment, he sees you, unreachable, sitting almost contentedly in eternal safety. And then he yells at you, finally, over the other screams, above the wailing of others, the roaring sound of the flames and torment of others. The third time he repeats himself, you finally hear the words, "Why didn't you tell me?" And the only thing that you can think of to say, but you can't vocalize it, because you are too overcome with emotions, is, "I didn't want to hurt your feelings." There is a very good possibility that every one of us, in perhaps a form similar to that, will experience that exact moment.
When I say unto the wicked, Thou shalt surely die, and thou givest him not warning, nor speakest to warn the wicked from his wicked way, to save his life, the same wicked man shall die in his iniquity, but his blood will I require at thine hand.
I can see no reason to go and search for someone in hell that we witnessed to in this life, speaking the words of grace offered to them that they refused to listen to, that they refused to hear. In my mind, that would be, in a sense, adding insult to injury, and would avail nothing either to them or to you. I see no reason to go to hell and seek out those that we loved here, that refused to heed the call of salvation by grace through faith, who knew the truth of the way, but refused to accept it, or our Savior.
And you will not come to me that you might have life.
I mean this in no disrespectful way to the truths of the Scriptures, but if you can envision doing that, meeting one eternally damned that you held dear to your heart here in this life, and not shed tears over them because of them, then I do not know just what you would ever shed tears over. I didn't want to hurt your feelings. You were my friend, and I wanted to keep it that way. That's why I stopped talking about my Lord. That's why I quit mentioning him to you. The look of pain and suffering eases from his face. A look of sadness beyond imagination comes upon him. And then, anger. Anger like you have never witnessed before. Eyes ablaze, pure hatred for you, as if it's your fault that they are there. It isn't, you know. They rejected the call. The fault lays fully upon their shoulders. And there is absolutely nothing that you can do to change that, except feel bad about it. About yourself, because you didn't want to hurt their feelings. You didn't want to lose their friendship. I do not know. I do not think that anyone alive honestly knows what that portion of that verse means. That their blood will be required at our hands. But there are a lot of people in heaven who do. And there are many that are going there that are going to find out exactly what it means. You get up from the ledge. His screams are now lost in the screams of millions of others. But before you turn around to head back to your eternal home, you silently mouth the words, "I'm sorry." You can change all that today.